The Grinch. She stole the dad.
What's up with the Grinch today, Ashley?
Well, my parents got it for me for my birthday.
Aw. Are you Grinchy?
Yeah, he's my favorite for Halloween. I mean, not Halloween, for Christmas.
My girls are scared to death of the Grinch.
Aww.
I know.
Hey, Nick
So wait,
Adam.
are we all Sagittarius, right? The girls. We're all Sagittarius, right?
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius. I don't know.
I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
I'm a
She's a
Wait, when's your birthday?
April 27th.
Oh, I thought you were doing a. I thought it was this live stream was for your birthday.
No.
Oh. On Sunday, you know.
Sunday. Oh, I was just gonna give it away, but I'm like, oh.
Like her. Hey, Gwen, her human birthday is in April, but her alien birthday is like today.
Okay. Well, where are my damn presents?
Nobody knew about your alien birthday. You kept it on the DL.
It's just
the secret, like all things extraterrestrial. Secret.
Hey, Speech Fairies, what's going on, Philip? Thanks for coming in. Hey, Tasha, what is going on? Hope you all are having a great night. Thanks for joining us live tonight. Nick Adams is in the house. SDA's in the house.
Hey, SDA.
We're joined with Lindsay B. We got Lady Dazed, Gwen in the house, and then we got Ashley from Adventures of Ash Sheiks with her Grinch, her Christmas Grinch. She's the Grinch. She's the Grinch. She's the Grinch. You need to get the blue Chase Grinch. Do you have that one, Ashley?
No. I don't have any Grinches for the
Really?
Box. Yeah. Yeah, that's surprising.
We got C4 in the house. We got Alexandra Perez in the house joining us.
Hello, Alexandra.
Hello, AP. AP.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for my birthday card. You're awesome. He sent me a birthday card.
Aw. When's your birthday?
It was the 24th.
Yeah, it was before mine.
How do you
I
not
love your
know,
shirt, Gwen.
Lindsay?
What?
It says nobody freaking cares.
Nobody cares, bro.
Nobody cares, right?
Nobody freaking cares.
Nobody cares. I'm practicing for when I come to Chicago. Chicago.
Yes.
Nobody cares.
You gotta order an Italian beef extra wet when you're here.
No.
Don't call it moist, Lindsay. It's wet.
No.
Yeah. Extra wet.
Can I have a humid pizza, please?
Do you know what extra wet means?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
I don't know.
They take the whole sandwich and just like dump it into the juice, into the Italian beef juice. It's extra wet.
And extra calories.
Hey, Night Owl. Night Owl.
Peanut butter's in the house. Extra wet. He heard that, so he jumped in the stream. Like, we got Anthony with 3 girls, and they're talking about extra wet.
Extra wet.
Bad stuff.
Any children under 18 watching? This is not. You need your parents' permission. This is rated R.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Alien, so it's rated R.
Yes.
There you go.
So,
excuse me.
Look at that.
Before I can hear Manny in the background.
Hey, Manny.
Did you hear that bell she just did? Jeez.
Hello, everybody.
Soak up some of this moisture in here, Manny.
Yes.
Yeah, it is pretty moist.
Moist.
So, we're going to talk about Unacknowledged by Stephen Greer, but I want to read something to you that I kind of did some digging and found some information I thought that I would share with everybody because I thought it was pretty cool. So, there was a study in 2019, a few months ago, and they said 20% of people polled in the United States believe that aliens have actually landed on our planet. 20%. And then there's another one that mentioned that 50% of all humans on this planet believe in UFOs, but only 20% believe that they have landed here. So I said, well, 20%, that's not a bad number, right? But when you looked at the numbers, 20% which they mentioned in the poll, there's actually 50 million people around the planet that believe that aliens have actually landed. So that's a lot of people. When you talk about the actual amount of people, that's quite a bit. Does that surprise you at all?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be more, actually.
Yeah.
It's crazy with all the yeah, I mean, that it still blows me away though that 50% believe that they've actually landed on our planet. I mean, not 50%, 20%, 50 million. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool. So I have some questions I want to ask you all about the documentary. So we'll start with Ashley down below. We'll start with Ashley in the house. What was the most compelling part of the documentary for you?
For me, well, there's a lot of parts that jumped out to me, but for some reason, like the whole Marilyn Monroe thing. So, like
That
her
was crazy.
dating that one guy, and then, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy how they have that much power of like they off people because of it, and also how the president doesn't really have information on it since he's like a temporary job kind of thing.
He's just a sitting president for maybe 4 years at the most, so it's just you're right, temporary job, right? What about you, Lindsay? What was the most compelling part of the documentary?
Well, I mean, I'm sure no one's shocked, but definitely the Marilyn Monroe thing, because I've been following, like, you know, just her life and her death and like the whole conspiracy theory. And when I first watched this, I didn't even like think about that part of it into like the whole conspiracy theory, but it's just kind of like, wow, it makes so much sense. Like, it just makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, it's crazy they were connected.
Yeah, like it's just like she was like a troubled like woman, and she didn't keep secrets. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, she didn't keep secrets. Like, she didn't keep it a secret about like who she was, you know,
Hooking up.
yeah. So I mean, this was the only way. Like, she was a loose cannon. Like, this was the only way that they could have got her to keep quiet. So.
What about you, Gwen?
Well, let me start by saying I didn't actually finish this documentary. I fell asleep twice trying to watch it. Listen. I don't want anybody to think that it's not interesting, because I thought it was interesting AF. I really did. It's just, I work in retail and it's the holidays. So like by the time I actually like sat down and watched it, I was just like dead tired. So I did watch a good chunk of it though. And for me, I think the most compelling was the part where they were saying how we have lost like a decade of technology, that we're being suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, that part, I was like,
I did watch it all.
He did.
The number of like high-ranking officials, like giving dispositions on what they saw and what happened, is crazy.
Yeah.
I
think another thing that like really got to me was like when they started talking about like the state of our planet. And I mean, like with the whole, like, we're killing it. Like, I mean, that's just facts, like, you know, and how they got into the whole thing that like, well, timing and like there's more people having like, you know, sightings and stuff like that. It's just like, you just kind of have to like think about that and put 2 and 2 together. Like, it's not really a coincidence.
So with I'm assuming all of you here tonight believe in UFOs.
Yeah.
Aliens. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of hard not to at some point, right? My opinion though. But what do you think is and I'll start with Lindsay on this one. What do you think is the reason for the cover-up? I mean, why do you think that the public doesn't know?
Because you can't make money off of free energy.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that.
A lot of it has to do, like with money and the fact that, like, I mean, if you think about it, like every Hollywood movie that we've seen, so, you know, if they come here, they're going to kill us. They're gonna, like, you know, it's just that whole fear factor of it. It's just in my opinion, it's all false.
What about you, Ashley? Why do you think that they're that they haven't let us know. I mean, they actually have recently kind of the Navy already came out, right, and said, it was on CNN, Fox News, everywhere, that the Navy came out and said, yes, that UFOs are real. They have visited our planet. They didn't mention aliens, but they mentioned the UFO ships and crafts, because I guess there's video footage of it that they didn't deny. So, but overall, though, what do you think is the main reason for the cover-up?
I mean, I think fear, mainly because like fear of the unknown, because I feel like we always fear the unknown as people, and it's all about power. So they're scared, like, you know, other humans could have more power, could take over the planet and all that bullshit. But I don't know. Well, it has to do with money when it comes to them, like, not giving us like that guy made that whole gas. You could use water for gas thing. That was just like, that would solve a lot of, you know, health causes on the world. But I just
I think a lot of religious places want to suppress it as well, because that kind of goes against all their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
That I don't understand.
And really, if you think about it,
I was just saying, I don't like how he was saying religion. I don't understand like that argument. Like, well, if there's aliens, you know, then that disproves God. And I'm like, well, why didn't, you know, if you believe in this,
why would he stop with us?
why? Yeah. Why couldn't he have created that? Who put the spark of life on this planet? Like, it's. I don't know how that would disprove your belief in a higher power.
I don't think people like change. Like even the Catholic religion, like they've always stayed in like their thought process. Oh, this is billions, you know, years ago. It should be this way till the time today and stuff like that. I feel like, and even with Pluto, like when Pluto was announced that it wasn't a planet anymore, everybody like freaked out because, like, you know, it's we've been taught this for 50 years. It's been burned in our brains that Pluto was a planet. So I think people are just, you know, they don't like change or like, you know, stuff like that.
I agree. I mean, I think the status quo is something that people are comfortable with, and people don't like things that might be a little uncomfortable. So, especially if it means change. For me, I honestly believe it's 100%. Well, maybe not 100%, but maybe 90% financially driven. Like you said, you're not going to make money off free energy. So,
and you got to think too, like, if like the day comes where everyone finds out that they're here and they exist or whatever, you're going to have basically like a whole world full of people saying to their government, well, you lied to us.
Yeah.
You're going to have people.
Yeah, but I think the point of the whole movie was that the government's going to use it like the ultimate false flag. Like they're going to use that technology to seem like the aliens are here to gain control.
That would be a massive amount of money. Now they did say there's trillions of dollars, right, a year missing from the fund, and nobody knows where it's going to. And I know Trump. We're not going to get into politics, but I know Trump has tried to find out where this money's going to, and he's been cut off. So nobody can find out where this money is going to. I mean, we know it's black budgets, but it's crazy because that would take a lot of money to financially stage an invasion, an alien invasion, a fake one. That would take so much money and resources. And wow, I mean, they could do it, right? I mean, if any government can do it, it'd definitely be the U.S. government for sure. But that would just the time involved, the money, and then if it backfired, oh shit, we'd have a civil war. We'd have a civil war if it backfired.
Yeah. People would be mad.
Well, I know he's trying to create the Space Force.
Space Force!
Space Force.
And
I think I've actually seen a real ad for it, though. I think it's like Space Defense Force or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Trump said he wanted to build one. So the whole thing, though, is if you look at it from a government point of view, what if the government was going to do? Now, obviously, when I say government, I don't mean people that know what's going on. I'm talking, obviously, you know, we're talking higher echelon. Even Ashley mentioned that the president doesn't even know about this stuff. It's like 24, 30 levels above him. You know what I mean? I didn't even imagine there was so many damn levels above him, but if there was an invasion, you would think that they would want to take guns away from us first, right? Because they don't want us to, one, start shooting if it's a fake invasion, it'd be fake aliens, right? So to shoot real humans that were fake aliens. And yet the government isn't pushing for stricter gun control. We kind of talked about that last week with gun control, but so that's kind of ironic, where it's like the government, you would think the government would push heavy for gun control, like heavy to try to get guns out of Americans' hands if they're going to stage something like this, right? Because it'll be harder to fight back when, if this did.
Well, I think the technology's above petty guns, like
right.
They got like ray guns and laser guns and like really futuristic stuff. Like,
I'm sure they've manufactured.
Bullet is nothing compared to what they got now. They said we're 100 years behind, right?
Well, we know that they back engineered. I mean, we don't know. I guess we assume that they back engineered some of the crap that they've taken. I think that was mentioned, and that makes sense that they've done that. And you can see other documentaries where they talk about that stuff. So I just find it interesting. And so getting to the next question, that kind of leads us up, and I'll start with you, Gwen and Manny. Do you think that these, and when I say these, we're going to talk about how many races we think there are later on, but do you think that, and for the most part, because it says in the documentary, Stephen Greer had made a comment in the very beginning of it. I'm not going to mention that comment, but I'll just mention to you that, or ask the question for all of you. I'll start with Gwen. Do you think that most of these races are malevolent? Like they're not evil. They don't mean any bad intentions.
Yes, absolutely. That's probably also why they've become more technologically advanced than we are, because they don't worry about, the petty shit we do here. They're just, let's band together and, for our future. Like it's better to educate yourself, which is probably why they visit other planets than Earth, educate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you think
probably educate themselves on what not to do.
So what you're saying is, being a more peaceful society, you're able to advance more in technology because you're not worried about him or her. You're doing it for the betterment of the entire colony,
right?
Society, not.
It's kind of like a board mentality.
Kind of like a board mentality. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of financial. I think the one thing that we face here on this planet, and probably other races don't on other planets, is the whole idea of money and power. And it's something I don't think they see a lot in the universe. I think it's obviously seen here, but I don't know if it's seen everywhere else. And so I think in my opinion, it's probably limited to maybe specific planets, but it's not really the thing out there in the universe to do. Is money and power doesn't really control anything. It's more about, doing what's right, like doing your part for the community to help out.
The collective, right?
Yeah, everyone does their part, and the collective grows all as one. No, hierarchies of this person's higher, this person's. They all elevate as one together, and I think that's more peaceful, obviously, and it's going to cause less crime just in itself, because everyone's equal, right? There's nobody fighting for a higher position. There's no competition to be better than somebody else. It's all about making the collective better. What do you think, Ashley? Are they evil? Are they good?
I mean, I feel like the world has made us believe that they're evil. By every single movies, aliens for the most part are always bad, except E.T. but like I would like to believe that. I mean, that they don't care about petty shit like we do, and are just trying to be like, take care of their people, their community. Mm-hmm. But who knows? You never really know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though, if there was some type of, I think if every planet, like if other races out there were similar to us, I would think that we would have noticed by now, just because I think that our planet is other planets too, like this planet is just another one beautiful planet and millions and billions of planets, right? But if you have the hierarchy like we do here, where people are fighting and stuff, I would just think that with that technology, you would use it to your advantage and actually come over here and attack us and try to get our stuff and try to kill us for whatever they need, materials or whatever, and that hasn't happened, and I don't see it ever happening.
Well, that's what I thought was funny about the connection with the nuclear sites and the sightings. Like they were paying attention to our nuclear weapons and shutting down our nuclear weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he did say, I mean, the quote in the beginning of the documentary was, I don't know, like phrase word by word, but it was like, you know, we fear them, but in actuality, like we have nothing to fear from them. They're actually worried about us because of how destructive we are.
Yeah.
So what do you think on that?
Right. No, I think like for sure, and like getting into that, like at the very beginning of the documentary, I guess you could call it, it was the song "What a Wonderful World" by Louis Armstrong, and it's like showing us like scenes of like bombings and murders and pollution and like just like it actually, like I've seen this twice now, it made me cry both times because it's so sad. So just the timing for me, like just like piecing it all together, like if they were here to hurt us, why didn't they do this 20 years ago or 100 years ago? Or it just makes no sense. So to me, it's more of like a peaceful thing. It's more of like, you know, like they don't want to see us like destroy what we've been given. And we are. Like that's just facts. That's fact.
Yeah, if you think about it, of course it's just our opinions, right? But if you look at our technology today, and when I say ours, I'm meaning like around the world, not just US. I mean technology around the world, we're a lot more advanced than even 20 years ago. So if they were going to attack us, they would attack us at our weakest point.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like,
it just makes sense.
No.
And if they're supposed to be, and I believe they are, if they're supposed to be a higher consciousness of us or a higher intelligence than us, not saying that they're better than us, because they don't look at, I truly believe that whatever races are out there, they do not look at us like we're like little ants on a farm. I don't think they look down on us whatsoever. They just understand that at one point they were where we're at now in our evolution. They were at our point at one time in their personal, you know, history of that race. So so we're just, you know, we're all the same. In other words, I don't think they look at us as any different than them, except that they're at a higher point of consciousness from where we're at, but they used to be where we're at, you know, and they climbed up through peace and everything else that they did. Yeah, but they would, if they were malevolent, then they would definitely attack us at our weakness, which would have been decades ago, before the whole.
Exactly.
So I said it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
I think like there's a possibility of definitely some very savage type aliens, but the odds of them finding our particular planet are probably astronomical.
Yeah. There was a phrase in the documentary. Do you guys remember hearing it where somebody mentioned, I think it was the guy doing the voiceover. I don't know his name. I can't think of his name. The one, like I thought it was DeGrace or something like that. What's his last name? Tyson.
Oh, you're talking about.
I can't remember.
I know the guy's name. I know. I'm totally brain farting right now.
But he mentioned, and I wrote this down too. He mentioned that for every grain of sand on Earth, every grain of sand. Think of all the sand on the entire planet. For every grain of sand, that equals 1 grain of sand equals a planet just like Earth that has the capability of sustaining life. Holy crap, is that not mind-blowing?
Yeah.
Well, like we can only go so far in space, and space is unlimited. So it's just kind of like, if we think it's just us, like, in my opinion, that's just kind of ignorance.
That's our particular dimension. That's not even like going into like interdimensional.
Right.
Like that's just what we can see.
And it's like the ocean too, right? There's only like so deep that we can go, and there's parts of the ocean where we can't go because it's so deep. Like it's just
I think we know more about outer space than we do the ocean.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
But like we only know what's in our galaxy. Like we can only see so far into like outside of our galaxy. Like there's so much more just that's outside of the Milky Way than we don't know anything right now. But I mean, I know there are some moons as well that are sustainable, possibly sustainable for life. So I mean, there's just so many areas that are possible. But I feel like right now we're just focusing on Mars, and we're sending like a bio rover or whatever to look into that more, like finding life on Mars and stuff like that, in 2020. So or 21. So upcoming, we're gonna be doing that. They're sending like two things up, so we'll get more information about Mars hopefully.
So what do you guys? And I'm just, I'm winging it off of that statement because I like that you talked about Mars. So I want to throw a question out there for you guys. What do you think about you? You guys have obviously. I'm assuming that you guys have heard about the possibility of us maybe eventually sending humans to Mars, right? And trying to start a colony there that maybe they won't come back. Maybe it's just like a one-way trip. And it would take, I think, 2 years, a little over 2 years to get there. What do you think about, and then going back to what Manny mentioned earlier about technology, that these black programs, that we have this technology that maybe our governments don't know about, right? This technology of just far more advanced than what the public really knows. So what do you think about the idea, bless you, of our government? Or I don't actually, NASA, it wouldn't be from NASA. I think it would probably be privately funded, to be honest with you. But what do you think about sending people to Mars to possibly never come back, which would take, a little over 2 years to get there, versus having a technology that we probably have already that we can get to Mars in maybe the next 3 minutes with that technology, like if we back engineered ships and we know how to, and we have the capability of flying them, I can tell you right now, we could travel to Mars in probably 3 minutes. So isn't that crazy to think? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Anybody?
I would totally go to Mars.
Yeah, he already asked permission if he could go, actually. This was years ago. They were looking for people to send, and he was like,
no, you can't.
Yeah, he was like, would you get mad? I was like, yeah, I'll probably never see you again. He's like, but I'd be on Mars.
Because didn't they find water? Isn't there water? They found water on Mars.
Yeah. The atmosphere actually used to have a lot of water, but it's kind of like it's gotten more of a hotter planet or whatever over time, over billions of years.
But there's ice on the planet right now in certain spots where they believe there's water underneath, but I don't know if it's like drinking water. It's just a form of water.
Yeah.
Well, they said they could use that as fuel if they get there. Melt the ice for the fuel.
Wow, why can't we do that here on Earth?
I know, right?
If they can do it on Mars with zero technology on the planet, why the hell can't we do it here and billions of dollars for people? But guess what? It doesn't make money for the corporations.
Just a Brat said that scientists are up there already trying to grow plants and experiment like on their soils and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really neat.
You think it'd be anything like that one movie with Matt Damon?
Which one?
That's crazy, right? The movie, I don't know, where the storm came by and screwed everything up.
Was it The Martian, right, or something like that?
Martian, yeah.
Martian, yeah.
Where he had to grow his own plant, or he had to grow his own food, potatoes, right? He was only
I was like only for like, what was it, 5 years? I think he was there or something. 5 years.
Yeah.
They didn't even know it was alive.
Has anybody had that astronaut ice cream that they make?
Yeah.
Really?
No, but I wanted to try it.
Well, you guys know that they can actually like make normal food now up there because they created this like little microwave thing. So now that they can actually have like pretty normal food now, and like cookies, I believe. So they can make cookies and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's just nice for the astronauts,
Right. They deserve better food.
So does that mean Funko needs to make a Pillsbury Doughboy with a space helmet on?
Oh yeah.
They already made a Tokidoki with one.
That's so cute.
They just need to do a Pillsbury Doughboy.
Adorable.
Yes.
How many races, and I guess the number doesn't matter, but I'm just kind of curious, and I'll start with Lindsay on this one. How many races do you think are out there in the universe?
Oh my goodness.
Different ET races.
Like probably thousands upon like thousands, really. Like I said, like getting back to the like what I said before is we can only go so far. Space is unlimited. Like there could be another Earth out there, like millions and trillions of like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there could be like, yeah.
And it's crazy that we're so accustomed to the grays, right? To the gray, almost the triangle head with the big eyes. But that's just one race out of thousands of races.
Exactly.
And I wonder why we always focus on that one. Maybe that was the easiest one, right, Manny? That's probably the easiest one to pretend that you are. Maybe we have like the masks cover for that one.
Well, they also might be our closest neighbors that have that sort of technology.
They're the closest in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They come here quite often.
Well, they come from the Zeta Reptilii system. I have to look that up and see how many light years that is. If somebody knows in the chat, let us know how many light years is Zeta Reptilii from Earth. Because I know
what's the closest one is Andromeda to us.
Andromeda, yeah, galaxy. What about you, Ash? How many races do you think are out there? And then not only how many, but name me some, like, not names of races. I mean, those are out there too, but like, what do you think they look like? Like, what's the possibilities? Do they look like Rick and Morty?
It's like a pickle planet.
I think like there's infinite amount of races. Like I feel like it would be foolish to think like our faces, the way that we look, are like how every other living thing, like humans out there would be. But I read this book. It's like a trilogy. It's the Fifth Wave series, and it kind of talks about like aliens coming in waves and stuff like that, and they like invested themselves inside humans, and they would awaken once they like needed to come or whatever. And it's just a very interesting story. They also have a movie about it, but the movie isn't as good as the books. But it's just a very interesting story about like how aliens could, come in, just like by placing yourself inside of a human, and then just like, then you have like the memories of the human and stuff like that, but you have control now. And it's just so interesting. Like there's just so many different ways. Like, I mean, a lot of people make it up and stuff, but it's possible,
So I want to mention what Greg had mentioned, Greg Stewart. Yeah, so he wanted to know if do we think it's possible if there's like human looking, very similar to us, if not almost identical, but very similar to us. I don't know if they'll ever be identical, but similar to us out there. And I would say 100%. I mean, I think everything is based on where you're from. So for example, I've read a lot. I mean, I grew up reading books on extraterrestrials my whole life, and it's something that I've really been into my whole life. And because I find it interesting, because everything on this planet is beautiful, but like to look out in the stars, I always felt like when I look in the sky, I just feel like it's home,
Yeah.
And I feel like like I miss it. It's weird. It's like this inner feeling of just missing. When I look up, I feel kind of sad, like I just miss home. And I never could really explain it. As I got older, I just feel like we're all come from the stars, right? So maybe it's that connection, but the reason why the grays have these large eyes is because they have what I'm hearing, what I've read throughout my life and stuff, is that they have either a sun that's really close to them. I've heard that theory, and then I've heard that they actually have two suns rotating around their planet, which is extremely bright, and they really don't go outdoors unless they're flying in their ship or whatever. They stay indoors, and then the blackness of their eye is actually like a film. It's like sunglasses for them.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't really know. It's just the stuff I read, but I find those theories interesting. So to go back to Greg's question, I think, yes, it depends on how far the planet is from that sun. It depends on how much water's there. If there's too much water, I think the aliens would look at amphibian. I think they would have, more webbed fingers than we do.
Exactly.
If it's a closer sun, they're going to have bigger eyes that are shaded. If it's going to really determine. But yeah, I definitely think that there's human-looking ones out there, sure. And I believe that there's human-looking ones that are probably walking on this planet right now, to be honest with you. If you want to know my real opinion about it, I think that there's probably some walking this planet right now.
They all shop at Walmart.
They all shop at Walmart. I would just go straight to China.
No, right. I agree with you 100%, Anthony, about environment and evolution. It depends on what their planet, again, how far they are from the sun, how much water. It's definitely
I mean, we base everything off our science as well, like carbon-based life forms, and there's stuff that's beyond carbon-based life forms that they're just finding out about.
This is a weird question that just came into my head, but like, do you think that they like have genders like female and male and like reproduce similar to us, or do you think they could reproduce differently?
I think it's probably all different.
Yeah, I would
think there's probably races out there that could reproduce with themselves like frogs do.
There are.
Evolution, man.
Well, that's boring.
Well, I agree with you. I was just going to say that, Lindsay. I was like, would that be maybe a more sufficient way of getting things done? Maybe, but like, is it fun in the end? You know, like.
You know, I don't know. I think we might be one of the few races that enjoy that. I don't know if there's, you know, who knows? At the end of the day, I don't know if, and that's a good question. Is, I mean, do you think extraterrestrials are concerned with the pleasure of reproduction, or if they just look at it as something that, you know, maybe it's
there might be a race out there that's like praying mantises, and the male gets eaten afterwards. Like,
so, I don't want to be in that one. I feel like that happens on this planet, man. It's called child support. It's called child support and alimony.
You get some of the alimony.
It happens here on this planet.
But like, in all seriousness, have you ever been like out in public and you pass somebody on the street, or you're just around like a group of people and like something just hits you, like something's definitely off right now?
Yes.
Like a person?
Yeah, like an overwhelming feeling that like something isn't normal right now. Like I get that a lot. Like it gets you all lightheaded. It gets you like, I don't know. That has always made me wonder, like, you know, some people have their theories that they are walking around right now looking like us. Like, is that, you know, a sign of something like that? Is that something that would affect us like that?
It very well could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were walking around the south side of Chicago. That's probably what you felt.
Maybe. Must be a Canadian thing, right?
No, I've definitely been in. I mean, I can't recall like a specific time, but I do have memories of, you know, being in public at certain times in my life and feeling very blissful around somebody, like very angelic, like you know, like very heavenly. That's the best way I could. It's hard to describe these feelings. They're just unnatural feelings that we feel, right? And then I've also been around people or been around somebody like that I didn't know, and I just felt like this just immense amount of like, I don't know if they're evil, but I just felt like this immense amount of like negativity from them, you know? So I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Like shortness of breath, and like I've actually like left places and areas because I'm like, I can't stand here right now. Like I just like,
you can't stand the energy.
Yeah. Like just, you can't take a deep breath. It's really hard to explain, but like you can't take a deep breath. Like it's like,
and could that be part of maybe a past life? You know?
Could be.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done anything with past lives?
No, but I've had dreams that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, because my friend, like he's done it before, so he kind of like did that with me, and I was like a noob to it. I didn't understand anything that was going on, so I was just like, I'll try this, whatever. And like it was weird because I went back to this like a moment where like I was when I was first born, like you go back through your life, and you try to think of like the first kind of moments or whatever, and like I could see someone standing over me crying, and it was just like so weird, and I was just telling him what I saw, and then he's like, that's probably you know, when you died in your past life.
Could be.
So weird.
Yeah,
I heard that if you have a birthmark is a sign of where you died from your past life.
Oh my god, I have one on my thigh.
I have one on my leg too.
That's weird.
I can show you.
I'm not gonna show you either.
Yeah, we're not
I
gonna.
got one already.
This isn't show and tell. Maybe tell, but not show.
Or
So
like fears that you have that like just don't make sense.
yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's something that a lot of people experience, Lindsay. I do. I feel like a lot of people probably experience it, and maybe like we are now, we can't really understand why. It could be so many different things.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it's definitely could be alien related for sure. Not saying it's not. It could be anything really.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think if we paid more attention, and I think kind of Ashley was kind of talking about this a little bit, if we pay more attention to our emotions and we're in tune with what we feel, and we really like try to connect our feelings at this point with this specific person or this specific event, if we really heighten our senses on our feelings, and we really start really documenting and paying attention to how we react to certain things and how we feel about certain things and how we feel in certain positions, and we really dissect it, I think that we could definitely use our emotions to make better decisions and kind of help guide our life a little bit. What do you guys? I want to ask. I'll start with Ashley first. And we kind of already touched on this, but what do you think would happen if aliens came down one day and said, "Hey, we're here," and then they were like, they were friendly, they introduced themselves, and then they started showing us publicly like how to create free energy. What do you think would happen to the jobs in the oil, coal industries with all that free energy coming around?
I mean, I wonder if it'll even get to that point, because I feel like, I mean, the government shoots down people who are talking about stuff like that. So, I mean, if there's like an overwhelming amount of aliens that, I don't know, like, and where do they land? Like, are they going to land in the U.S. or somewhere
around
else?
the whole world. Let's say around the whole world.
Okay. But yeah.
Where our government couldn't control it, which is my favorite.
Okay. then yeah, I feel like it could be a good thing. Like, if it's unstoppable, like, you know what I mean, then no one's gonna be able to stop it, so it's gonna happen,
Right.
Oh, they were saying like a cube like this big could power a car or the whole city, like
that's
absorbing the dark matter and stuff.
It's interesting. Well, that's what they have an episode of that on Rick and Morty. Do you remember that? Yes. Literally.
It's like Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
It's like The Simpsons predicting the future.
No, but I think if they came in here with other energy options, I think the government would tell us, come to us with the guise of they're here with bad intentions and try to shut that shit down, because they
probably try to sabotage it. Like the aliens are like, here, free energy, and then
it would have to be all over the world.
Attacked by a terrorist or something.
Yeah.
So I want to piggyback on that question and bring it over to Lindsay on it. So if you take the idea of free energy and you put that into the human that's working in the coal industry, the human that's working in the oil industry that now is displaced from their job. Screw the government. We're talking about the actual individual that now has been in the oil industry for 25 years of his life. He does not know what he's going to do anymore because he just lost his job because of these damn aliens brought this free energy. So he's probably happy he's going to save money on the free energy, but we just cost him his paycheck. So if we have a lot of angry, and I would assume this would piss a lot of Americans off, or a lot of people around the world, doesn't have to be Americans, from their point of view, just from that human point of view, do you think that could be damaging to how we perceive the extraterrestrials at some point?
I think like for those specific people, it's going to put like a bad taste in their mouth. Like they're not going to, I mean, they're obviously not going to be happy, just like anybody else is going to like lose their job but like it said in the documentary, you can't just say, well, let's not change the typewriter to an electric typewriter because so-and-so is going to be out of a job. It's just technology. It's the way it's got to work. Like, you're not going to say, let's get rid of, like the guy that said that he could run a car on water. Well, that's just kind of the way it is. Yeah, people are going to be out of jobs, but there's going to be other jobs that are like created that we didn't have before. And it's just, it would just work. It would work itself out, I guess.
Now, do you think, so you think it would work itself out, And I'm not, and I don't necessarily have I have opinions, but I don't have necessarily a side. But so do you think that the governments around the world, not necessarily U.S. government, do you think that the governments can use this against the extraterrestrials? Like, hey, they're just taking home, right? We should be afraid of them. No, they're not bringing guns like we thought they were going to bring, but damn it, they're taking our jobs. You know, and then
I mean, let's face it, like,
don't you think that there would be propaganda by the governments, some governments, to do this?
For sure. Like, the government wants to be like the end all of everything. You know what I mean? Like, we're the highest of the high, and now you've got these like beings that come and say, well, we're going to show you how to do this, we're going to show you how to do that. So now you've got like the human race now saying like, well, wait a minute, like, screw you guys. Basically,
but I think it's kind of happened like that already. If you think about it, you go back to like ancient Egyptian times. It's crazy what they were doing back then and how fast technology evolved after that. And
yeah. That's what Jantel, I hope I'm saying that right. That's what she just said. Explain the Nazca lines, or how the Egyptians lined up and built pyramids so perfectly.
Aliens.
Right.
And I'm just saying, I love the whole like cat thing with the Egyptians. Like, to me, that's just like, well, that's just like kind of a little bit random. You know, they worship cats. It just, to me, it just kind of like,
cats are the aliens, man. I swear they're gonna take over the world someday.
Like, I know when I look at my cats and I'm like, don't do that, they just look at me like, excuse me.
No.
Right?
They did they mapped out like one of the pyramids. What's the main pyramid in Egypt?
The Great Pyramid of Giza.
Giza, maybe.
Right?
And it's like to the star, but
Yeah.
it changes
Orion's
over
belt.
a period of years. So what the star was then, it was named something else compared to what it is now.
And there's a line, they drew a line from like on a map of like the whole world, and they put it all out, and they drew a line from where that goes, and it actually went all the way over through Sedona. And so it hit these places around the world.
Like the ley lines, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And it hit these areas that are very, like, if you go there, they're very like great energy places. It's just unbelievable, the energy there. And it's there's no way that the Egyptians knew, like, I mean, there's definitely, in my opinion only, there was definitely some type of
outside influence,
ET help.
Well, just look at like their hieroglyphics, right? Like, there's things like in their hieroglyphics that are just kind of like, that just make me question, like, well, what is this thing here? Oh, that's reminding me to move my elf.
They actually have ships, like in the hieroglyphics. There's this disc in the sky that they're looking at, and it has like a beam of light coming out. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Like,
and like people look like they were wearing astronaut helmets. And stuff like that.
They took. I wasn't on the documentary. This has nothing to do with the documentary, but they took a picture of a brick pattern, and it was like, when I say brick, I'm talking about the pyramid pattern, where like the different stones, where this stone was like this big and this stone was that small, and they were like in this pattern together, and they noticed a pattern on this pyramid. They took pictures of it, and they went to, I think it was like 8 different pyramids around the world, and they had the exact same effing pattern. Like, there is no way, no effing way that Egyptians went around the world, you know, building these things. No, I mean, there's no way you can. They put picture over picture over picture, and the pattern lines up perfectly. And it's a unique pattern that's going to hold the most amount of weight without stress fractures. It's crazy. There's no way possible that they understood this.
Yeah.
They had to be directed. My opinion. But there's no way. It's just not even humanly possible. And we have that technology today, and I don't even think we could build a pyramid today. I bet you we could. With our technology today, I bet you we couldn't build one as sound as they did.
Yeah.
There is one in Vegas.
Yes.
That's not a real one, Lindsay.
Okay.
It's like Paris and Vegas isn't real, Lindsay. You gotta actually go to France to see the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, dear.
I bet you there's something in Antarctica as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, I would love to go to Antarctica one day.
At one point, it was not frozen like that. It was something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? What do you think, Ashley, about the pyramids? Do you think aliens helped out on those?
Oh, for sure. I feel like how the technology even then was just, I mean, it was different, but I don't think they had enough to do that. Like, I feel like they had help from some sort of thing outside
Right.
of the world. So,
So we're going to wrap up the stream here in a little bit, but I want to get your guys on the documentary at least. What are your final thoughts on the documentary? Do you think people should watch it? If you haven't seen it in the chat, do you think people should watch it? Would you recommend it? What is your final takeaway from the whole documentary? We'll start with Lindsay.
I think that like if you're someone that is a skeptic, I think that it would be interesting to watch because it's just there's just so many points that they make that it's just kind of like, well, it's such a valid point. Like, how do you explain that? Like, you can't explain it. And they make so many points like that. And I just think that everybody should be open-minded, and whether you believe or you don't believe, I think that it is something good for everybody to watch and like make their own opinion.
What about you, Gwen?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. As someone who hasn't even finished it, I will definitely go back and watch it from beginning to end because it was very interesting. It had a lot of stuff that me and him already kind of like seen other documentaries kind of like that, or like Ancient Aliens, or like it's very informative and
a lot of real time, real people data.
Yeah.
Ashley?
yeah, someone asked what the name of it. It's Acknowledged on Netflix.
Unacknowledged?
I spelled that wrong, but it's fine. But yeah, I think, I mean, if you're interested in that stuff, like even if you're not interested, I think it's just good to kind of open your mind to those kind of things and learn what's going on in the world. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know that they have technology out there to cure cancer and all this other shit, but it's just they're not even using it. And so I think it's bullshit. But I don't know. I just want flying cars to happen.
For real,
Can we just have the flying hoverboards first, like in Back
I
to the
know. Dude, Tony Hawk dropped this thing that like hoverboards were real, but it was actually like a fake thing. And I was like, you fooled the shit out of me. So I was like, they should be real by now.
Man, ever since I saw that hoverboard in Back to the Future, I'm like, I have to have one of those, man.
And the lace-up shoes. Well, Nike came out with some of those.
Yeah. We saw flying cars. What's up, Manny?
What?
The lace up your shoes.
Oh, control?
There's an app to tie your shoes.
There's surely an app for everything.
I start relying too much on technology.
Well, it's for dumb shit, though. It's like Ash said, like, let's use it to, like, better ourselves. Like, cure cancer or something. Let's not tie our shoes with our phone because we're too ready to bend the fuck over. Like, what's wrong?
It's like Alexa, right? Like, whenever my dad comes over and, like, because if I think of something, I'm like, oh, Alexa, remind me tomorrow at 1 p.m. to do this. He's like, why don't you just write yourself a note? I'm like, well, yeah, I could, but
do you ever think this just came to me too. I didn't think about this ever before, but do you think that maybe these little gadgets, Gwen, and everybody, but I mentioned it because Gwen, was mentioning the same thing that Ashley said about technology. Do you think that these little gadgets, these little tricks that are cool and neat are kind of keeping us occupied and not thinking about the bigger and better things? We're just kind of like fascinated with these little things that they're coming out with instead of looking at the bigger picture. And I mean this as a society. Do you think that that's a way of controlling us?
Yes.
Distracting us,
not controlling, but distracting us. Yeah.
You walk down the street, how many kids do you see doing this while they're walking down the street, going like this?
I'm just waiting for one to hit a light pole. Like,
it happens.
What about you, Ash? Do you do that, Ash? Are you always on your phone like this?
No. Yes, to avoid people though. But I don't know. I kind of feel like technology could kind of be like the Antichrist in a way. Like I feel like they're gonna find a way, or are already finding a way to use it against us somehow that could take over the world or some crazy shit, you know? Like the government's just keeping tabs on you. Like nothing, like there's just so much more to technology that a lot of people don't understand. Like they know everything about you. Like I mean, even companies are selling this shit and they're finally getting in trouble for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's just so much that we don't know about technology that they know, and I feel like, you know, it's dangerous in the sense of, you know, I feel like it could be a really bad thing. And then yeah, they're giving us games and stuff to make it seem like it's like a good thing, but I don't think it's really gonna be good in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It's even affecting like our mental health as well. Like, you know, kids are just are all depressed, all have anxiety. It's just getting a lot worse as a society with technology, because I feel like it's just consuming us and we're using it in the wrong kind of ways, you know?
Well, because they're getting judged by everyone instead of just a few people.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you talking about social anxiety?
Yeah, like social media causes issues, I think, to a point if they're not accepted into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my biggest fear for my daughter is that she's gonna grow, and I do my best not to allow it to happen, but you know, as a father, you can only do so much, right? Especially as she gets older. But I just fear, like with the society now, like with the kids now, like if we're not careful, they're gonna grow up, and this is a fear of mine. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I just have a fear they're gonna grow up being less. They're gonna be like not antisocial, but just like having social anxiety because they're so used to getting everything on their phone that they don't have to interact with people like real people, and that worries me, because when we lose that human connection.
I agree, and it's not just though with the younger generations. It's like for us now, they're making it easier for like even adults not having to do anything. Like, you know, you can order your groceries, you can get whatever you want from Amazon. You don't have to leave your house ever.
You don't have to talk to a person anymore. Like even to order pizza, you just do it on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. You don't even have to call and be like, hey, can I get a pizza? You just there's an app for that.
And I feel like robots are going to be delivering, like, you know, droids and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
They can all be delivering our stuff now. Like that's going to take away those jobs and stuff like that. So like I feel like we already have technology that is kind of taking away jobs. I feel like we have to cut out what's better for our planet, like the whole gas shit. Like at least try to get that. And cancer, just like Jesus, like I feel like we already have that cure. They're just
for sure.
I truly believe we do.
Mm-hmm. But look how much money they're like bringing in a year.
Yeah,
it doesn't make money.
Yeah,
it doesn't make money.
Sick though. If you that's so messed up. It's like we don't care about our community at all. It's just like we care about money, and it's just that's just like puts me off to like the world, because it's just kind of disgusting. I feel like the whole world is about money, and money is power, and it's just gross. And I think that's why like I feel like I hate being here, because like I feel like you said, like home is like above, and there's something that's not right about here, and it's like but I don't have the power to change
Right.
because I'm just a little kid, and you know, one person can't really do anything. Honestly.
Exactly, Ash, and they built a system too where it's like you can't. You know, we do need money. We need money to survive. We need money to pay the bills. We need money to buy food. Like, you have to go to work. You have to. That it's like we watch all these things like, oh, I wish we can make this world a better place, but like we don't have time. Yeah, we don't have time to do that, because we have to literally live in this system that is, you know,
it's a controlled system, and not just that, but the more they keep us at home, the easier we are to control. Like, think about how, and Ashley, you probably don't know because you don't have any kids, but when you have kids, think about it. If your kid is at home, in some way, that's controlling them, right? Like, you don't have to worry about what they're doing, what they're not doing. You know, you kind of know what's going on with them, and so it's easier to manage a child that way. And if our governments are keeping us in home by creating things that make our life easier, and we might think, oh, this is so great, but we're not realizing the bigger effect of it, and it's another way for them to keep tabs of where we're at. Just like
30, 40
Pokemon
years
Go.
from now, People are going to be afraid of people.
It's already happening. There's already
Yeah.
social anxiety all over the place. And
Yeah.
people are
40 years from now, everybody's going to live in the virtual reality world.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, you can go see a 3D movie now. Well, how long is it going to be until like it's, you know, you put on the headset and you're actually in that movie, you know?
Yeah, well, my brother was saying that for like NBA games, you can get like front court seats or whatever in your like headset, and it feels like you're actually there, like you're actually watching the game in real time, front row seats. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
And that's cool and all, but like,
It's taken away every social aspect, really.
right, exactly. Like you're just, it's cool and all, but you know, let's take technology and do something better with it. Like I said earlier, like let's do more with that. And also, you know, the experience of actually going to a game and sitting front row would be pretty cool too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so sad. Like this one thing really stuck out in my mind last year when I was taking my daughter to her swimming lesson. There were probably like 6 girls sitting on the floor of like the building, and they were all sitting there and they all had their phones with them. They were probably about like 15, 16 years old. They weren't talking to each other. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like at 15 or 16, we'd all be like, you know, talking to each other and like, but it was quiet and they're all just sitting there like texting.
You see that at dinner all the time when you go to restaurants. How many families are on their phone?
Yeah. And the
Man.
one girl looked at her friend. She's like, oh, did you just seriously send me that? I'm like, oh my God.
When they couldn't just go, hey, look at this.
I'm like, wow.
My daughter called her mom from the living room to the bedroom, like on the phone. I'm like, get your ass up and walk over there and say, hey, like, what are you doing? It's just that's how crazy it's getting. It's so convenient to not communicate face to face, and it's bad. It's getting bad, and just imagine employers that have to deal with this issue. You know, like they want good customer service, so they want to hire somebody for customer service. And like, none of these people have customer service, man. They don't even talk to people. They don't even talk to their own family at dinner. Like, they're all in their room eating dinner. Like, 5 different rooms are being filled for dinner time. It's like crazy, man.
Gosh. And
but you know, I think at the end of the day, it's I think everything is going to work itself out. So, and we'll eventually be in space.
Yes.
With the aliens.
Touring the moon.
And the grid.
Can I just read Chantel's comment right now because it's like, oh my God. Okay, for all we know, we could be an experiment. We could be one of the many. How many before us failed? How many have succeeded? Welcome to the outer limits. Like we could just be.
Yeah.
We could be somebody's virtual reality game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's going like really deep.
That's going deep.
There could be like 40 other planet Earths out there with like, you know, 40 other Mannies and
your doppelgangers.
Oh, imagine.
Yeah.
A whole planet with doppelgangers.
Yeah. A whole planet full of LBs. I would totally live there.
I would totally live there.
How do you reproduce with yourself?
You figured that out.
Oh Lord.
Dongle fingers.
Oh, that's funny.
On that note, guys, we're gonna end the stream. Thank you everybody for coming out and watching us. We're gonna be live next Wednesday at 7:30. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same time, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, over on JC's channel, Nerdy Treasures. Is that right?
Yep.
And it's the Christmas movie.
So what are we covering next week?
Night Before Christmas.
Yes.
But night is spelled K.
Okay. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like a night.
I thought he was misspelling it because like I didn't know that there was another movie named Night Before Christmas.
It's got Vanessa Hudgens in it.
Really?
It's just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. So if you guys want in the chat, if you guys want to watch that and then kind of, hear us talk about it next week, that's perfectly fine. But that's
wait, don't forget, like this girl and this girl.
What? You do your own plug. Do your own plug.
On Sunday.
Do your plug.
I'm not a mom.
So this Sunday is going to be me,
I'm not a mom.
Jenny Aponte, aka Mama Lucha, and Glenn Funko, and Mrs. Cryptic, and we are doing a special stream. I was going to give it away, but I'm not going to give it away.
It's just going to be fun. It's going to be full of fun.
Yeah, we're going to be dressed up. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Dressed up like what?
I can't wait.
I don't know. You have to guess. I've been like putting hints on my Instagram like all week. You have to guess what the theme is.
Oh, you're gonna be Tommy Lee. I'm gonna guess, Lindsay, you're gonna be Tommy Lee. And then Gwen's gonna be Sammy Hagar. Ashley, are you going live with them?
Not Van Hagar.
Ash wasn't even born.
Oh, I would put Ashley as if I'm going there with that whole theme there. I'm gonna put Ashley as Courtney Love.
Okay, that's the wrong era though.
Oh, I don't know what era you're even doing. So, okay.
You're gonna post on Instagram.
She's like, no, I don't want to be Courtney Love. I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, thank you everyone for coming. Sunday night, what time, Lindsay?
Same time, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central.
On her channel, there she's doing some funky stuff with some ladies.
Yes. That does not sound good.
Great.
Hey.
Guys.
And then next Wednesday on JC's channel, Nerdy Treasures, we will see you there. We're doing Night of Christmas or Night Before. What is it called?
Night Before Christmas with a K.
With a K.
With a K.
And it's got Dorothy Hamill in it.
And Vanessa. Vanessa.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming on, guys. We'll see everybody in the chat later. Bye.
Take it easy, nice.
Lindsay, I seen all that snow you're getting, girl. I'm sorry.
I shoveled that all on my own.